New York sports fans, what's going on? Pistol Pete's back at you. I got some content for you today. I made a 2-minute video yesterday talking about the Knicks. Uh, just to touch base and recap for those of you who didn't watch it. I was just really high on the Knicks winning 9 in a row. Them locking up the 4 seed was accomplished. We need to hold on to that. I was touching on Karl-Anthony Towns in the future. We'll get through that content as well. I do want to talk some Mets today. Lindor is struggling to start the season. The Mets finally did score some runs to support DeGrom on the mound. They're a little couple games above 500. But I do see some things that alarm me with this Mets team. So I'll touch on those things as well. For those of you that don't personally know me, I started this channel about a month ago. And I also am attempting to start a small business that's taking up a lot of my time. So I cannot, unfortunately, put up content as often as I would like. When I first started making a YouTube channel, my life has turned in another direction. So I want to be able to cut my own checks, entrepreneur, and a sole proprietor of a business. I don't want to talk about that. We're here to talk sports, right? So the Knicks. Yes. I've been saying it. I've been going crazy over this team since the offseason. I don't have proof as a YouTube video, but those of you who know me out there know I'm a diehard Knicks fan. I've been a front runner for them for 80s. I'd say 86, 87 was around the first time I started watching. I was a little boy. You go back to my original video, my little introduction explains why I became a Knicks fan and how I came about it still being there. I would never leave my team. I'm not a sellout. I went through all the heartbreak. I haven't even... Those of us who've been lifelong Knicks fans know, unless you're a generation before me, we haven't won a championship, and we haven't seen it in our lifetime. The last time they won one was 6 years before I was born. Got close in 94. Could have had one in 99. Unfortunately, Ewing was out. And then they did him dirty. That's a whole other issue. I don't want to discuss that. Let's talk about this year, right? Let's go for 10. 10 in a row. This is the longest winning streak, and I want us to break the franchise record of wins in a row. We're approaching that record. Let's keep it moving. This team is clicking on all cylinders. Derrick Rose had a little practice press conference, and he was speaking highly on Nerlens Noel. And those of you that know me as a basketball fan know I'm a diehard Rose fan. Like, yeah, I'm Knicks all the way, but as a player, 2010 when Derrick Rose came about, I've always wanted, yeah. So it's almost like a dream come true that Derrick Rose is actually finally healthy, although he's up there in years, that he is a point guard. I like the fact that he's our backup right now. So it's not too much of a load is put on him. He can finish the games. Tom Thibodeau's rotation is perfect to me. I don't... See, the funny part is everybody is a critic. Everyone thinks they know the actual sport when we're just fans, right? I'm a fan myself, but I've actually played basketball. I know like the basic concepts. I've played some organized ball. Did some pickup games with Division I dudes in Long Island. Did some N1 tournaments. Not that I'm a fancy big jumper. I had another style of play. A couple of cats that I know. That's why Pistol Pete, they said I played like him. I didn't even know who he was at the time. This was like 99. They said, I said, who's Pistol Pete? Come to find out, it was a former basketball player. And I looked him up, and yeah, that hustle, that grind, that smothering defense, the ability to pass, the ability to shoot when necessary, the clutch game. People sleep on Pistol Pete, you know. So that's neither here nor there. Now I made a YouTube channel, made myself after that. 2 guns up for all the haters. And that's what I do because I love Knicks fans hating on the team. And I love, you know what? LeBron made a tweet the other day. I know I'm getting off subject a little bit, but let me hear me out. He laid out a tweet the other day talking about that the NBA is better when the Knicks are winning. Why is that controversial? I don't know. That's a fact. Manhattan, Times Square, New York. Like, come on, guys. That's the mecca of basketball. No other city in the world is the original headquarters. This is like, everybody goes to New York to play basketball, right? Everybody knows about the pickup game, Rutgers Park. Anyone who's visited New York City knows that it's a huge basketball city. The Brooklyn Nets moved over because Jay-Z originally bought them from Jersey and brought them over to Brooklyn, his hometown. Cool. They're not a New York team, though. They will never be New York. They can't take over New York. It's this Knicks town. So we've done a lot of suffering. Now, the reason why we've been suffering, in my opinion, is because everybody in the world knows about the Mecca. So it's very, very difficult for the Knicks to win there. We have to have a monster squad, and we have to fire at all cylinders at all times because everyone comes to Madison Square Garden to show their talent. They're going to play their best against the Knicks. Like, doesn't matter if the Knicks, whoever the Knicks put on the floor, the visiting teams are going to come and try to show their stuff, right? Because everybody's watching. And anybody who's a New Yorker knows that we, as fans in the stands, we know basketball. We know our stuff. You know, like, we'll come to the games, but we'll let our team know when they're screwing up. But when the getting is good, when the team is fired on all cylinders, when they're playing the way they're playing now, excited, hustle, grit, perseverance, and with the underdog team, people love that. So even though there's only 2,000 people in the crowd right now, it is buzzing as if it's sold out. That's New York basketball. That's the Knicks. And I'm just excited for the future of this team. Nerlens Noel. Now, let's go back to the Derrick Rose conference. He was talking about Nerlens Noel, right? So he was saying how he watches him practice, he watches him do his work, and he's giving him a lot of praise. The reason being is centers with his body type are not that durable. Look at Mitchell Robinson. It is hard to find players that don't have the little bit of a medium body type to an average when it comes to protein or muscular aspect. The center is like the anchor, right? So traditionally, centers were really, really strong. They were tall, agile. Rose doesn't have that type of body, but he's real skinny, right? That's what Rose was saying. So it makes sense that, like, the way his work ethic was. Now, Rose in the past hurt his ACL, but the way he stretches, the way he conditions himself, the way he's been grinding all year. He had a problem handling the ball at the beginning of the season. Remember, like, I was upset all throughout the season about Nerlens Noel's handle, like his ability to catch the ball. He had no hands. He had brick hands. Like, come on. He's worked on it. He really has been fumbling too much of the rock. But the most important thing about Nerlens Noel is the way he guards that rim. His timing is impeccable. You can't teach that. Like, his sensory perception of knowing where to be at the exact time and when to jump, when not to jump, when the players are going to shoot and when they're not actually going to shoot the ball, because sometimes they're fake, and that's the thing you want to do. They throw fakes up and get the defender to leave their feet. Nah, he knows exactly when to do it. His shot blocking ability is elite. His rim protection is elite. Is he a scoring center? Nah, not at all. But man, he anchors that defense, and this team is about that D. You gotta have defense. Because as we're showing and proving throughout the season, that if your defense is strong, you could be struggling on offense, but you can still pull out the game. Want to know why? Because we're physical. We're winding the teams down, especially the teams that are coming in back-to-backs. And we're just pushing them and putting and just hurting them to the point of by the time third, fourth quarter comes around, they're tired. They can't do what they were trying to do. They lose their legs. They lose their shot. You lose your legs in basketball, you can't really shoot that well unless you have a set shot. How many people have set shots, right? So it's even then it affects your body. You need your conditioning, and those guys, the Knicks are just a swarming defense, and they harass you and harass you and harass you. No easy buckets, foots on throats. We don't care if it's a 15-point lead, a 30-point lead, a 1-point lead. We're still gonna D up. We love that. It's hard work. You know, to be a New Yorker, that's just who we are. It's our blood. So yes, we do have high expectations for our squad. Yes, are we front runners? But we're also going to call it how we see it. A lot of people say we got attitudes. Nah, we're just bright. We can see through BS. We're not sheep. So that this team, I'm so proud of this team right now, 2021. Just Julius Randle's team. I did touch base yesterday talking about how anybody they come in the offseason is a compliment to Julius. And I mean that. Because without Julius Randle, this team would not be where it's at. And I'm not just saying this as a Knicks fan. Julius Randle is the most valuable player in the league. Hands down. It's not even a question. I know that these sports writers and everybody else in the media talk about how the best player in the league should be the MVP. Don't give me that hogwash. Most valuable player to their team. That's what the MVP is. And if you see the talent around Julius, and you see Julius and first of all, he should get most improved. Second of all, he should be the MVP. And third of all, Tom Thibodeau, COY, Coach of the Year. Because then no one even saw them even reaching 500. I had them as a 500 team, and that was high expectations. Everyone's like, wow, really? You had them at 500? Yes, I did. You know, when Julius Randle came over, I was very happy that he got over. Now, he had a rough first year. And I get it. He was out of shape. He didn't look right, but he was a consummate pro. He worked in the offseason. He found out who his next coach is going to be. And they probably met up with them. And he says, okay, this is what you're going to do. I'm going to put the load on you. Handle your business. And Julius stepped up to the plate, handled his business. And he's only going to get better. I don't see his career winding down. This whole thing, that's what I want to talk about. Zion Williamson. I don't want Zion. We had our chance for him. Come on now. All of a sudden now, the Knicks are going to start getting good and you want to talk about the Zion Williamson sweepstakes? So you're just going to throw away Julius Randle in the trash. Just like that. Why? Because you think that he was going to be better for the Knicks? No. Look at the hard work. He deserves to be rewarded for that. Julius Randle should keep this up, and when his contract is up, definitely a max extension. If he stays like this, and his play stays like this, and he's getting better. He's turning down his coming down on his turnovers. I don't want to lose him. Career Nick. Now, if it tends to falter and there's an issue, fine, I get it, but don't try to replace him now. The Knicks would be nowhere without him right now. You want to improve? Improve the other positions. Point guard, center, small forward. Now, I know that Julius and Reggie Bullock got a really good chemistry going. That's cool. I feel it. That's the team he has to work with. He's going to ride for his squad, right? But, we need two-way players. We need multi-dimensional players. That's how this league is coming. Because if you look right across the borough from Manhattan over to Brooklyn, mind you, I'm a Brooklynite, and I'm not even a Brooklyn fan. Just to make this clear, my family is Brooklyn, New York. We're from Queens. I was born in Manhattan. Lived in Long Island. I have family in Cypress Hills. We watch basketball with Knicks fans. Brooklyn, that's will always be the Jersey Nets. It's cool that he brought them over from Jersey because they weren't doing nothing over there, but I don't know anybody that was born in Brooklyn unless the new generation's coming about later on. Maybe they're trying to win them a chip. I don't know. I don't want to talk about Brooklyn because they're irrelevant to me. I don't care who's on their team. They're irrelevant. So, back to what I was saying about improving the positions. Notice well, he's the anchor of the defense right now. Mitchell Robinson's fragile. He's always had injury problems and back issues in the beginning of his career. And they say he's young, but if you're so young and you're already having these problems, your bones are breaking, like, sorry, when the getting's hot, we can't use you. You're not even on the court. What's the point, right? So that's where we get to Karl-Anthony Towns. And I know they talk about superstars demanding a trade. I don't want to hear that mess. Nobody's going to demand the trade. Maybe it's a possibility that Towns would be interested in coming over. I've always wanted Karl-Anthony Towns to be our center. I think he'd work well with Julius Randle. Why not? Julius Randle's team. As long as Towns don't come over here thinking he's the big S and like he's going to take over New York. Nah. Julius Randle already won the squad. It's so hard to win and be successful in New York City. So to find someone that is that way, he stays. There's no getting rid of him. So many people, even with the other New York teams, like we get these firepower, these big superstars, and they're doing great in other states and other cities, and then they come to New York, and all of a sudden they forget how to play the sport. So this is the opposite of that. The opposite. You know? So Towns comes over, he's a compliment. He'd be a great addition to this team. Nerlens Noel could be the backup. He's a backup anyway. You anchor the defense. There's no hating on Noel. Like, he's doing his thing. Like, he's way overachieving right now. But how long can he really handle that? How long can that be? Like, we're looking for championships, right? We got 5 first-round picks in the next 3 years. I know everybody's trying to build up through the draft. We already did. We got our young players. We got a core for the future. It's hard to find a center like Towns. We can afford him. Trade some assets out. Not much. You know, a couple first-round picks. We got to match the salary somehow. Because if he wants out, they're going to make it happen, right? So let's not sell off to everybody like they did with Carmelo Anthony. Like, don't do that. You know, they're asking for too much, then it's a dead deal. But if Karl-Anthony Towns doesn't want to play there no more, they're going to make something happen to save face, because Minnesota's going to be Minnesota. Now let's move over to the point guard position. Yeah, Alfred Payton, you know, he's a good defender. You know, he tries. He tries. He'd be a good backup point guard. You know, I'll always be that way. No matter how much he does, he's not reliable enough, man. He doesn't. There's a reason why Derrick Rose is closing out games. Derrick Rose is supposed to be the backup. But he's closing out games playing with the starters, finishing it up, unless he fouls out. There's a reason for that, people. Pay attention. So, I was watching a press conference a few weeks back about Brunson. He loves Brunson. He knows the family for a long time. He loves that type of point guard. So let's I don't know his career. His career's going right now when it comes to his contract. So if he's not available to be a free agent, now Lonzo Ball's there. He's my number 2 option as a point guard. Now, I was always a Lonzo Ball hater coming to the league just because his father, like, he's selling his brand too much. And I'm like, his kids can't even shoot. Like, well, he's selling them off too much. Like, it's almost like his influence got him drafted. But I see Lonzo growing up. I've been watching some of his games. And I can see him as a good distributor for this team. Now, is he a shooter? Nah. We don't need a point guard to be shooting from 45 feet out, 30 feet out, and constantly like Steph Curry. We don't need that, you know, for the point guard. We need someone to be able to get this team going on fast breaks, to find the open man who has good perception of the court, you know, peripheral vision. We need someone to play hard-nosed defense, get those steals when necessary, throw those home run passes on the money, not just grab the ball and go up court and do half court, but be able to run a half court offense if necessary, because Tom Thibodeau likes to break teams down and wind them down. He likes to grind, and beat you up. You know, so Lonzo Ball would be a good addition if you can sign him over. But my pick would be what Tom Thibodeau wants. Let Tom Thibodeau build the team the way he sees fit. He's earned that right. So if he loves Brunson and loves his style of play, and is open to getting Towns, come on, let's make these moves. Obi Toppin's finally coming to his own thanks to Derrick Rose. But come on, just one player is going to make you do your thing. Like, I guess you're getting used to the NBA. Toppin, you were a good three-point shooter at Dayton in college, but the NBA goes back a little further. So I understand you want to shoot threes, and, you know, you got a post-up game, man. Stop with these three-point shots, bro. Like, you're not ready for that yet. So if you move in and shoot from the college range where you're comfortable, that's good. That's a good shooting spot. You could extend the floor that way, like kind of like Amari Stoudemire did towards the end of his career. Amari Stoudemire was always able to shoot from the top of the key. He was able to shoot from the baseline about 15 feet out, 20 feet out, with pretty good efficiency. Knowing that Amari Stoudemire had to change his game because of his knees. That explosiveness, it does wear on you. Explosive athletes always have a tendon and ACL or MCL issues. Nobody's different. We're all human. So I don't know, like, I get you're explosive, but when you get to the professional level, you got to switch your game up. No, don't wait till it's too late. Learn the lessons from the generations before, you know. Derrick Rose got smart, you know. And he adjusted his game accordingly. Now look at him, 32 years old, and he's carrying his team as the point guard. Carrying us. Because Elfrid Payton is not carrying us. He has spurts of greatness or spurts of doing good, but he's not there. Sorry, Payton. Like, it's how it is. I'm calling how I see it. So those are the two additions I should go after. We should go after. I mean, if I was front office. Towns and Ball. Brunson first. I don't think we'll be able to get Brunson. They're going to be asking for too much, but we'll see how that works out. Now, I do want to slide over to the Mets. Francisco Lindor. Get it together, man. Don't try to come up to the plate and be the hero all the time. You got a good team surrounding you. Play your game. Play your baseball game, bro. Like, your bat will come, right? But I see the way you're swinging the bat is, and the pitches you're going after is not what you did in San Francisco. It's not. You look different. It doesn't look the same. Your defense is great. Like, yo, all right, cool. But your bat, you don't have to be the hero, man. Just because you signed you to a max contract doesn't necessarily mean you got to be like, you know, 150 RBIs a year and 40 home runs. Like, we don't need that on that team right now. Be the contact hitter that you are. Every now and again, a long ball comes, take it, right? We got power hitters. We don't need you to be power. Don't hit for power right now. Not until you're comfortable in New York. Like, it's hard to play in New York, man, so be smart. Our bullpen. Jacob deGrom's got to throw complete games in order to win. Jacob deGrom's got to, you know, go 2 for 3 and score runs for us to win. Like, that's getting annoying. Like, that's getting on my nerves big time. It really is. We finally got a win with Jacob deGrom, but, like, he's good. It looks like his career is going to go down as, like, the most Cy Youngs, the lowest ERA, the most dominant player, pitcher, and have the least amount of wins. That's sad. It's like, oh, they must feel like, oh, deGrom's on the mound, we can rest today. We don't have to play as hard. We just need a couple of runs. No. Play your offense, man. Like, when he's not on the mound, pretend he's not there. You know, score 4 or 5 runs a game when he's not on the freaking mound. Like, well, I don't understand it. It gives me a freaking headache. Like, for real. Stressing me out, yo. I understand a couple games above 500, but that bullpen be giving up leads still. We're not scoring when deGrom's on the mound except for one game this year, finally. Like, and they actually hit the ball really well. But the Entertainer Talking Sports, man, I got a shout out to you again. You made a very, very great comment to one of my comments on your channel. You went on a live stream, you were talking Giants. You said that deGrom's the most dominant athlete in sports right now. I agree 100%. Without a doubt, deGrom is the most dominant athlete out there. Nobody's better than him playing the sport right now. There's nobody out there who name one player in any sport that's more dominant than Jacob deGrom. I bet you y'all can't. You could try. We won't be able to. He plays both sides. He controls the game completely being on the mound, and he can hit and play offense with efficiency. And in baseball, what pitcher does that? Just baseball alone is difficult to hit the ball. We got a pitcher that can hit and score runs? Come on. Come on. It's not even close. The difficulty of baseball, you're an all-star when you're like hitting 27% of the time. Think about that. If your batting average is 27%, you're an all-star. Think about the math on that. So it's very difficult to play. People think baseball is boring. It's scientific. It's mathematical. It's not easy. So for him to be able to do that at the rate that he's doing it and keep it up, Taylor, you're right, man. And I just hope that the Mets pick up their game, pick up the slack, give this guy some support. Let's take this division. I don't know what it is with the Cubs. Ever since the 2015, when we played I don't understand. Ever since then, when we made it to the World Series, the Cubs owned us. They're not even that good. And they owned us again, swept us last week. What is it with the mental breakdown when playing against Chicago? Like, Chicago comes up with a vengeance and just, beats us up. Like, I don't get that. We need to fix that quick. But, yeah, let's make our little unwanted redheaded stepchild, as they like to say, the Washington Nationals, beat them up. Let's beat up the Braves. Let's beat up the Phillies. Let's beat up the Marlins and worry about the other divisions later. Let's dominate the NL East. Guys, I'm at almost 30 minutes on video. I don't know when I'm going to make another one. All I want to say is shout out to the Giants about the offseason draft is coming. We're going to do our thing. I feel it. The Mets coming up. And right now, I'm really focused on the Knicks. 10 in a row, baby. Let's get it. Guys, comment, like, subscribe. You all know the drill. If you're watching the YouTube, you know the drill. Even dislike. Put something out there. Don't matter to me. I know this video is long. Haters, I don't know where y'all at. But I guess everybody's got their mouth quiet now. It's okay. You'll see where we fit at the end of the season. Let's stay at that 4 seed. No play-in tournament, Knicks. Let's let the NBA know. All right. That's all I got for you today. Y'all have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Be well. And talk to you soon. Pistol Pete got 2 guns up for all your haters. And I'll see you next time. Be safe. Peace.